Today you're going to work on solving an equation like this, and then you are going to take your answer and you're going to show that it balances the equation. And these are the steps that I'm going to follow, where step 1, I'm going to use the distributive property. 2, I'm going to combine like terms on the same side. 3, I'm going to eliminate the lower value variable using either addition or subtraction property of equality. Then I'm going to eliminate the constant on the same side of the variable. And then in the last step, use the multiplication or division property of equality to solve for the variable. So here's my equation. So step 1 I'm going to do is distributive property. So you can see here, I multiply 4 times 3a and get 12a, 4 times 8, 32. So I use the distributive property, and all other terms, you just bring them directly down to the next step. Now I'm going to combine like terms on the same side. So over here, these are my two like terms, 5a plus 12a. And on the right side, there are no like terms. So you can see here my next step, I combined 5a plus 12a, got 17a. I brought down to minus 32, and there are no like terms here, so that stays the same. The next step I recommend is to eliminate the variables, starting with the one that has the lower amount. So you see we have 17a here, 13a over here. 13a is less than 17a, so I'm going to eliminate this one here by doing the opposite. Opposite of a positive 13 is going to be negative. So I'm taking away 13a on this side. And remember properties of equality, what you do to one side, do the same exact thing to the other side. So here I'm using subtraction property of equality because I'm eliminating 13a to both sides. And here you can see 17a minus 13a is 4a. I brought down to minus 32. This creates a 0 pair here, so we bring down to positive 4. And that brings us to our next step, where once you have your variable on one side, you're going to eliminate the constant that's on the same side of that variable. So that means I'm going to eliminate these 32 negatives here by introducing 32 positives. So you can see here I'm using addition property of equality. Again, in front of the 32 is a minus sign. Opposite of that is plus. If you add 32 here, you got to add 32 on the other side to balance the equation. Now you can see here, by simplifying, these are going to create a 0 pairs here. Bring down my 4a. 4 plus 32 is 36. And the only thing left to do is to solve for a. Since I have 4 a's, I want to split this up into 4 groups. And if I split this side up into 4 groups, I'm going to do the same on the other side. So you can see here I'm using the division property of equality. 4a divided by 4 is 1a. So I can put the 1a there. 36 divided by 4 is 9. And remember, if you have 1a, that's the same thing as just saying a. So we don't tend to write the 1. We just put it as a equals 9. So that's my solution, a equals 9. Now I'm going to take that over here and check my work. I'm going to show that it balances the equation. So step 1, you're going to replace all the a's with your solution of 9. So you can see here in my first step, this a was replaced with a 9. Notice I wrote it down as 5 times 9 because 5a means you're multiplying these together. So 5 times 9. This a was replaced with a 9, so 3a means 3 times that number. And then same thing here, 13a means 13 times a. So I put the a with a 9, 13 times 9. Now I'm going to use order of operations on this side, PEMDAS, and simplify this till I get to a single number. I'm going to use this as another separate problem, simplify using order of operations, and see if they both come out to the same answer. So on the left side, you're going to use simplify parentheses first. And here I have multiplication and subtraction. I'm going to multiply before I subtract. So that gives me 27 minus 8 in there. And I'm going to still work in the parentheses by subtracting 27 minus 8. You can see that gives me 19. And remember, a number next to parentheses like that means we're multiplying here. So according to order of operations, we're going to multiply first because we have either multiplication or the addition. We multiply before we add. So I can simplify this and get 45 plus, multiply these two, and I get 40 plus 30, so it's 76 here. And now you can see when I add 45 and 76, I get 121. So again, treat this like a separate problem from this side. Once you get your final answer here, you're going to apply order of operations here as well. And by looking at this, I can see I have addition and multiplication. I multiply before I add according to order of operations. So multiply this out. So when I multiply this out, I get 117. My last step is to just add these together, and I get 121. Since there's nothing else left to do here, I'm just going to keep bringing this down until I get to the bottom, where I can see here that we have the same amount on both sides. And by having the same amount on both sides, I know that the answer that I got over here, a equals 9, it balances the equation because we have the same amount on both sides. Now, when you're checking your work, if you notice that you end up with different numbers, for example, let's say you ended up with like 13 equals 15, that's not balanced. They have to be the same to be balanced. So when you solve an equation, we're saying that this is balancing the equation. So when you check your work, it should be the same. But if you notice you do get something different, that means you either messed up here when you were using the order of operations, or you messed up over here when you were solving the equation. Either way, it's a red flag to let you know something is wrong and you got to go back and check your work.